Oh. Uh, Shit, I forgot to write a clever intro explaining why I haven't done a video in a couple months. So, insert funny intro here. Hello and welcome to Connor Reviews. Today we are going to talk about Valiant Hearts: The Great War. Now, for those of you who don't know, Valiant Hearts: The Great War is a side-scrolling puzzle-adventure game that takes place during World War I on the Western Front. You play as 5 characters whose lives have now been woven together due to the events of World War I, and you must see if they can survive this Great War. The characters you play as are Emile, Freddy, Anne, and Walt. Emile is a French dairy farmer who is called to arms to help defend his nation during this war. He must leave his farm behind to his only daughter Marie and his grandchild Victor. He hopes that Marie and Victor will remain safe while he is out during the war, and while he is at war he hopes to find Marie's husband and Victor's father, a born and raised German, was spending a lot of his later life hopping from job to job trying to figure out what he wanted to do with his life. He eventually settled in France at Emile's dairy farm, where he of course met the love of his life, Emile's daughter Marie, where they would go and have one child named Victor. Things were looking great for Carl and his new family, but unfortunately, days before the war broke out, the French police came and sent Carl back to Germany, where he would be forced to fight for the German army. Freddy is an American who volunteers to join the French army. Anne, a Belgian nursing student who is in school in Paris when the war breaks out. She ends up quitting school to go and help out with the war effort. And finally, Walt, a charming dog that befriends our characters and helps them out throughout this game. These characters are just so great and so interesting. Throughout the story, you want to spend as much time as possible with each of these characters. With all these awful and terrible things happening throughout the war, it is so nice to have these hopeful characters to bring you along this great story. The only character I had any issues with throughout this game was actually Anna. And no, that's not because, oh, she's a girl and I don't like playing girls. No, her character is probably one of the best characters in this game, and she has some of the absolute funnest missions in the game, which I'll get to those missions in a second. My only issue with her is the nursing, and again, story-wise, her being a nurse makes sense, it's fine. It's the actual nursing missions herself that she has to do. Throughout the story, if she comes across somebody injured, you have to do this basic minigame to help heal them up. And it's like Rock Band, sort of, where you've got to hit the notes on the exact same time as the character's heartbeat. The thing is, I'm terrible at those games. Absolutely terrible. So, throughout any of those missions, I would have nothing but constant issues throughout it. I even almost ended up rage quitting the game before I even got to the end because I was stuck on one of these missions for a good fucking 45 minutes. So that's my only issue. Otherwise, I think all the characters are just amazing. The game consists of 4 chapters that start from the beginning of the war and go all the way to the end of the war. And throughout these chapters, you are faced with a few different types of missions that you do throughout this game. Missions like running missions, where you are running away from something or running after something and trying not to be killed. Puzzle missions, where you are stuck in a small area and you have to look around that small area to find different objects and things to beat the puzzles and get out of the area. Hiding missions, where you are trying to hide and escape from something without being caught. And finally, the best missions in this whole freaking game, the driving missions. These missions are a freaking blast. These missions are always involving Anna and whoever else is in her taxi at the time during this mission. Your goal in all these missions is to escape in Anne's taxi and make sure you are not destroyed or taken down by German soldiers, French soldiers, or even tanks. You're just driving around super fast-paced trying to escape. Essentially, it's an insane, intense version of Crazy Taxi. And to help accompany these missions, they have super fast-paced rockin' classical music. I know it's weird to say rockin' classical music, but goddamn, when that classical music is going, oh, it really pumps you up throughout the mission. And running from the Germans, running from the Germans, running from the Germans. If they ever sold a game with just Anne's driving missions alone, I would buy it, hands down. What's great about the missions is they make a point to make sure all the missions are nice and scattered throughout the game, so you're not getting sick of having to do one kind of mission over and over again. And besides the nursing missions, where you have to go heal the victims, nothing is really particularly boring, I found, which I think is rather nice. Now, when it comes to mission difficulty, there is definitely some really challenging missions throughout this game. Luckily for noobs like me, they have a nice little hint option that happens. If the game notices you've been stuck on a particular level or mission for a very long time, it will start sending you hints on the menu, on the menu option, on the menu board, so that you can go click on the menu board and take a look at some of the different hints to help you out. First hint, it's not super obvious. Second hint's not too bad either, but the third one, it's basically spells it out for you. But you don't have to go look at them, which is nice. So you can still keep powering through if you don't want any clues whatsoever, which is very nice for noobs like me. So as a whole, none of the missions were super easy. They were all relatively challenging, and none of them were very boring, which is nice. But none of them compare to the greatest mission in this whole friggin' game. This one mission, as I said, was hands down the best mission and best level in this whole game. A level I didn't even think would make it into this game, but my god, they made it glorious. It is one of the most important moments in the war. It helped change the direction of the war. The first Allied victory in World War I. I'm of course talking about when the Canadians took Vimy Ridge. My god, what an awesome moment. This moment is a huge moment in World War I and a huge moment in Canadian history. It's such a big moment for Canada that we actually have Vimy Ridge on our $20 bill. Now honestly, I wasn't really expecting too much in this game. I was hoping that this mission and Vimy Ridge and the Canadians would somehow be involved in this game, but I wasn't expecting it. I was expecting maybe some little shout out or cameo to it, or else to be skipped, because after all, we're Canada. Nobody gives a fuck about Canada. But man, was I wrong. We got one of the most badass missions in this whole fucking game. It might have just been one mission, but it was a fucking glorious mission. In this mission, you play as one of the most badass characters in this game, Freddy. So it only makes sense that the most badass character is in the most badass mission. And this mission, all it is the Canadians and Freddy just pushing through German lines, going through and destroying everything in its path, with the Canadian flag hanging proud throughout this whole mission, to the Canadians shoving their way through the Germans, just kicking ass and taking names. And if that wasn't enough to really get my Canada boner going, the mission ends when you get to the top of Vimy Ridge and the Canadians pull up a giant Canadian flag while explosions of awesomeness happen in the background. My god, what a great mission. And to top it all off, the cherry on top of the cake. Throughout this mission, you are led by one of the most badass Canadian generals in history, arguably one of the most awesome generals in the 20th century. I'm of course talking about Sir Arthur Currie, who is, throughout this whole mission, leading the charge. That's right, it's not even you leading the charge, it's this guy leading the charge with his cane in hand. Yeah, that's right, can you picture a war happening middle of a shit show, a storm of a war, and having some dude in a cane leading the charge? That's how awesome this mission is. Oh, it is so glorious. Thank you, Ubisoft, for that wonderful, wonderful mission. This story was amazing, for the most part. They managed to really focus on Emil's family and the struggles they went through during this war. The story manages to walk this fine line between charming and just heartbreakingly sad. World War I is not an easy thing to cover by any means, so I do like that they managed to keep the story simple and focused while also keeping the seriousness of the war itself throughout the story. They keep this game mostly focused on the Western Front, which I think really helps people that don't necessarily understand the full aspect of the war, at least understand one side of it a lot better. And if they want to learn more about the war, there's lots of information and little, hey, did you know things throughout the main menu and little clues and hints throughout the game, which is very nice. It can be an educational and fun game. That being said, though, I would love to see a Valiant Hearts sequel take part on the Eastern Front during World War I. My God, would that be a glorious game. And one thing I will want to quickly talk about is the ending. Now, I'm not going to spoil it because, I think it's one of those things you have to play the whole game to see. But my God, the ending absolutely killed me. I was in tears at the end of this game. It is such a heartbreaking ending that they earned so well. If you're considering playing this game, please play it all the way to the end to experience that ending because it's just such a good ending. Oh, and to the guy that did spoil the ending to me, joke's on you, motherfucker! You were wrong! You didn't even give me the right spoiler, so fucking suck it! And to everyone else out there, don't be a Sam spoiler. Keep that shit to yourself. Now, I have done nothing but praise this game. Don't get me wrong, this game deserves lots and lots of praise. But it will not be getting a 5 out of 5 from me. And that's because of the way they handled death in this game. Now, when it came to characters you didn't really know very well, yeah, they handled the deaths fine. They were sad, horrific, and just tragic and sad to see that kind of carnage. The problem was handling major character deaths. Now, anytime a major character would go to die, it would be tragic, it'd be sad. I remember the very first major character death happens and you go, oh my God, I can't believe that happened. Oh my God, that's just, holy shit, the game's just started, and then bam, turns out they were lying. Haha, just joking, the guy survived. Ha 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 ha. No, that's not funny. That's not even like oh cool. It pisses me off beyond any belief. It's one thing where if it's like Gears of War, for example, where throughout the Gears of War 3 campaign, they're constantly teasing at the fact that Carmine might die. Like, Carmine's walking and then a car almost hits him. It's like, oh, wow, that was pretty close. That's actually funny because, oh, you have a feeling the character's gonna die. No, this game, they milk it out to make you think the character is actually dead. And literally in the next mission, oh, hey, the character's alive! Hooey, 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 hooey. I hate when they do that to main characters. It takes away from the story. So throughout it then, anytime a major character death happens that's really supposed to get you, you're like, okay, yeah, the character's dead. Well, he's going to be back next mission. Oh, what do you know? The character's back at the main mission. God, it would be like if during Gears of War something like this happened.
Ty? Is that you? Marcus, we got more locusts on the way! Ty, let's go! Cole, Baird, cover that door! Carmine, Dom, guard the rear! Ty! No!
And then Ty comes back in the very next mission going, oh, sorry guys, I took my pills of fake head explosion. I just had to go take my other pills of head growing back pills, and I'm back to normal. No, that's not how it works. Your character is dead. Don't cock tease us, kill the character off. It makes the death actually relatable and sad and heartbreaking. But when you go and just do that, we don't give a shit anymore. You just fucking throw away good moments. So when you actually do kill a character off, it's okay, I guess, but it could have been so much better. Now, besides that issue with death I had in the game, I really, really enjoyed this game. The graphics were really just, they just had this special charm to them that really sucked you into the game. The story was fantastic, the gameplay was fun, and for the price of this game, my God, it is such a worthy purchase. It's a nice, cheap, fun game that'll at least give you a couple days worth of entertainment. I would definitely recommend you get this game. I'm giving this game a 4 out of 5. So what did you think of this game? Do you think I'm overreacting in regards to the whole death thing? Do you think this game is actually one of the worst games of all time? Do you think you could take Arthur Curry in a fight? Let me know in the comments section down below, and I'll see you next time. This is my jam right here.